Welcome back. Today it's a Talk About It Tuesday, and we're talking about agreed value insurance on classic and antique cars. I just went through the process of coming to an agreed value on my 1947 Ford that we affectionately call Fat Fanny, and I wanted to share the story with you about how that happened and how it worked. Don't go away. I'm Mike, and you're watching My Car Shop. Getting a classic or an antique car legally on the road is not always easy, and it's not something that can necessarily happen instantly if you're going to license and insure it as either a classic or an antique car. It's a process and it takes time. Today, we're going to talk about the process of coming to an agreed value on a car. I definitely have agreed value policies on 4 of my classic cars: the 31 Ford, the 68 GTS, the 73 Scoops Swinger, and now Fat Fanny, our 47 Ford. It's never as simple as going in and making a value declaration. So we've talked about this before here on Talk About It Tuesday, but I want to clarify: do not put declared value insurance on your classic car, because that is not the amount you will get paid. You want to get an agreed value policy, which means I'm stating this car is worth this much, and the insurance company is saying we agree with you, the car is worth that much, and if indeed something happens, we will pay up to that amount to replace that car or whatever might happen that we hope never happens. And so in order for that to happen, there are several things, depending on the insurance company, that could be required. So I'm going to talk about the general requirements, and then I'm going to talk about the process specifically with my insurance company. It is very unlikely that you're going to go to an agent and say, I have this car and I want to put this much insurance on it. And they'll go, okay, we agree. It's going to require you sending pictures of the car, detailed information about the car. Chances are you're going to have an appraisal of some kind, whether that's a self-appraisal or a professional appraisal. The way it worked on the Fat Fanny Ford was I went in to put the insurance on the car, and I said, this car is worth $40,000. I know what the market is on those cars, and they run anywhere from 25 upwards of $100,000, depending on how they're customized. Fat Fanny Ford is definitely customized, but it's not in the 6-figure range. And the agent said, okay, we put the insurance in for that. We'll submit this to the insurance company and see what they say. I sent detailed pictures of the car. The car is still in process. I explained that when the car is finished, it will be worth more. But currently, I believe this is its value. About a week later, my agent called and said, the company, I will tell you who it is in a minute, said that the car is worth $25,000. If you believe it's worth more than that, you need to get an appraisal on that car and then submit that appraised value to the insurance company, and they will consider whether or not they're willing to insure it for that. I said, I will not pay for an appraisal, but I will do a self-appraisal. I will get you 3 comparables as well as a Hagerty valuation from the Hagerty price guide on what this car is worth. She said, that'll be fine. Let's see what happens. Basically, at that point, what I'm doing is a self-appraisal, and I'm researching the market to find out what these cars have sold for in the last couple of years, because the market can change, and tried to find cars that were all within that price range or higher to prove to the insurance company that it was worth the amount that I'm saying it is. Then I went to the Hagerty guide, which does not do necessarily customized cars like that, but I went to restored cars to see what the number one condition of a restored car was, and it was over the amount that I was saying. I think it was around $50,000. So an appraisal can be, if your insurance underwriter is willing to accept a self-appraisal, you can do that work yourself. I spent a lot of time researching. One of the things that I've been frustrated with lately is a lot of these places that sell classic cars aren't telling the prices they're selling them for, which is a concern, because I think that means that the market's not doing as well as it used to. But neither here nor there, I was able to find those comparables on a 47 modified car that went from about $39,000 up to $57,000. I gave three comparables plus the Haggerty evaluation on the car, and I submitted it. My agent then in turn submitted that to the insurance underwriter, the insurance company, and they came back and said, yeah, we accept that value based upon this information. They were coming back with 25. I said 40. They would have insured it. I think it was a 15-day window, basically 2 weeks, to prove that the car was worth more than what they were saying it was, or they were going to drop it down. Now, here's the nice thing about this company, and again, I'll tell you who it is in a minute. Until that end of that 15-day period, from the time I insured it to the end of that 15-day period, they were going to honor the price, the value that I gave them. At that point, if I couldn't prove that and they didn't agree to it, it would have dropped down to the $25,000 that they were saying. Not every insurance underwriter or insurance company is going to be willing to do that. Some of them are going to insist on an appraisal. Then you're going to have to get an appraisal, or you will have to agree to whatever value they're saying should you choose to not want to spend that money, because appraisals aren't cheap at all. It's one of the reasons why I have stuck with this insurance company. I'm not advertising for them. I'm not promoting them. I'm not endorsed by them. They don't even know I'm doing this, okay? I'm just sharing my own real world experience. I've been with auto owners now for over 20 years. They have insured all my classic cars. They insure all of my daily drivers. We have all of our insurance through auto owners. They're a little bit more money, but this is one of the biggest reasons I like them. Whenever there's a claim, they pay without question. And when it comes down to things like this, two reasons I like going with that company is because when you go with Haggerty or Grundy or American Collectors, you have to insure that car for 12 months out of the year with full road coverage. With auto owners, if I said, it is now November, December, I'm not going to be driving the 26 Oakland, the 73 Dodge, the 47 Ford, or the 68 GTS until June, I can take those cars off the road and put them on storage only insurance. They don't cost a lot anyway because I've got them all on antique classic car insurance, but that literally saves me hundreds of dollars. With the other companies that specialize in these classic cars, you can't do that. And again, the second reason I like it is whenever I've had a claim, they pay without question. It's never a problem. If there's an adjustment from the body shop, they take care of it. I've never ran into an issue where auto owners wouldn't pay a claim, not only in the automotive world, but in other areas as well. I'm not endorsed. I'm not paid to say that. So here's my thing. I'm just telling you about my experience with a company that I've been happy with for a long time. I think that's important information, real world experience. The second thing, I recently switched from my local agent from one town to another because it's a lot more convenient to be with the agent that I'm with now. With my former agent, I always knew we could get this stuff done working together on it. I wasn't sure with the new agent how it was going to go, if they were going to be as understanding and willing. So I am going to give a plug to my agent. If you're ever in Carroll, Michigan, go see Tammy at Rummel Insurance Agency. Tell her that Mike from My Car's Shop sent you. She will know who the hell you're talking about. And I think it's good to get the word out when you have an agent like that that works with an insurance carrier, that's that willing to work with you to accept a self-appraisal. Now, I have history there because I have a bunch of cars, specifically 4 of these classic cars are insured there. But I think that's important. So I'd like to hear your experience, good, bad, and ugly, down in the comments with your insurance carrier and your insurance agents. I know that having an insurance agent, I hate insurance. I hate having to have insurance. I think it's the biggest racket on the planet. I think it's a waste of money. But I also know when you have a significant amount of investment in the product, in cars, in property, and so forth, protecting your assets is important. So those are my thoughts on agreed value. That's my experience on how I came to the agreed value of 40,000 on the 47 Ford. When I get the interior finished on that car, and that car is done to my level of saying it's done, I will circle back around and push that value up more. I'll have to go through the same process again and do a self appraisal on that car and make sure that everything is copacetic and not so pathetic. So I appreciate you being here. Drop your comments down there. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Spread the word because it's good to get the word out. All right. Don't forget, it's important. Wow.